Bang, you got the win today in the wild card. How do you feel? We do have a game coming out right after 3 days. So I think all we're focusing is about the next game that's coming up. It's definitely your first wild card game ever in your career. Did it feel different coming into this series? It definitely, I do have a different mindset coming into this one. Yeah, in spring we were actually in first place, waiting for all the other teams to really contend with each other to decide who will be facing us in the finals, but it's really the complete opposite. So it's a very interesting event that we get to be in this position. So a lot of pressure is being put on us with our position here. We did get the MVP for Game 1. How did you feel throughout playing that Game 1? We were actually expecting this sort of composition from our opposition, and we saw these players, and once we were observing the data, they had played those kind of specific champions, and especially using that ardent sensor to their benefit. So we figured they might use it this time around, and it was exactly to our expectations. So we were pretty prepared for that composition. And Wolf, weren't you jealous that even the ADC was giving the support the gold that she needed? Yeah, ever since the Relic Shield came onto the play, I started using Alistar, and I gave Bang all the gold that I earned for myself. But using the Janna, I never thought that even the ADC would go with the Relic Shield and give the support the gold that the Janna needed. Yeah, definitely. It was an extreme, risky pick by our opposition, so we got a lot of advantages from what they lacked. And it seemed like you weren't a big fan of Blitzcrank, but you ended up with that pick in Game 2. How did you end up with that? Yeah, we prepared that pick, and during our preparation, the results were great. But it's just a champion that I don't like personally, so I try not to use it, but... Yeah, it was a situation where you're talking about the gank was that first gank. I just positioned myself on the sidelines, and that gave a clear path for me to use my skills. And it was a situation where the opponents did a good job of trying to evade the gank from happening, but in the end, that's our advantages in the end. And also there was a situation where I did the wrong movement and the wrong sidestep that allowed my teammates to get killed, so it wasn't the best moments for me that I want to remember. And there was a situation where we saw you kind of laughing, just laughing really and smiling, a big smile, and we see you in the top of the solo queue ladder right now. Yeah, after losing out on that first gank, these guys must have been feeling pretty bad about the situation, but so they were having a hard time, but it was at the same time, it was kind of funny looking at that situation. Yeah, but I think after getting first place in solo queue, my coach has been definitely on the bias, on the positive bias for me. And it just seemed like the coaching staff was really giving you a lot of orders in the booth. Yeah, it was just very generic comments of telling me to get better and just trying to work hard as I can. And UNTARA, it's probably one of your first experiences of the playoffs, but how was it different from the other games? Yeah, I really tried to make myself think that this was just another regular season game. And I tried to not overreact, but act like this was just a scrims, that I can play exactly the same same way, and that would get me the best results.
업되지도 않고 뭐 다운되지도 않고 옆에 또 피넛 선수가
아까부터 박수를 또 한 번씩
박수까지 막 치면서
And we saw you, Pina, giving a round of applause as UNTARA was speaking.
사람이 참 쉽게 변하는구나라고 생각.
Yeah, I was just kind of surprised how a person can change so quickly after getting first place in solo queue.
만만해서 근데 이 모습이 더 좋은 것 같아요.
But definitely, we like to see UNTARA a little more overconfident than not.
플레이를 하셨고 또 2세트에는 MVP를
And he did garner that MVP in the second set.
나왔는데 같은 팀원들이 되게 인정할 수 없다라는
And it just seemed like the teammates were looking at you as if you didn't deserve that MVP.
카시가 받을 줄 알았거든요.
We all thought that the Cassiopeia would have gotten that MVP.
너무 큰 실수라 마음이 너무 아팠는데 제가
And there was a situation where there was a big mistake, and I feel really bad for that play. But
상혁이 형이
so I felt like if I didn't get it, it would have been definitely Faker who would have gotten that MVP. There you go, Faker shaking his head on the side.
이 세트는 저는 만약에 지면은 바로 이제 이제 바로 이제 무릎을 꿇고
Yeah, if I had lost the second game, I would have knelt down on my knees and apologized to my teammates. But I'm really glad that we actually got the win there.
2세트에 또 스틸을 했잖아요.
And you did get a steal in the Baron on the second set.
이게 스틸을 계속 하니까 아무래도 이제 좀 상대팀 선수들이 압박을 받는 것 같아요.
Yeah, I think with me getting more instances where I did steal the Barons, I think the opposition junglers are feeling the pressure when they play against me, and they always can't have a second mindset of playing against me when trying to go for the Barons. And yeah, this was a situation where by default I shouldn't have gotten that steal, but it was a little bit of luck mixed in with a little mistakes from the opponents. Yeah, it's always with Baron steals is that you have to rely on the opponent's mistake to really secure a steal.
게임 구도에 대해서 좀 어떻게 생각하셨어요?
How do you think about how the game went overall from the beginning to the end?
플레이 자체가 매우 좋았던 것 같은데.
일단 연습 과정이 제일 좋았던 한 주였고요.
I think this week especially was one of our best week of practice, and we were really satisfied how the results came along in regards to practice, and we just thought that we wanted to transition that over to the actual games today. So we really thought that we had a good chance to win today.
그렇죠.
피넛 선수 인터뷰를 보는 것 같았는데 아까 또 끄덕거리던
사실상
We're going to move on to the guy who's shaking his head once he thought that he deserved the MVP.
받아야 된다고 생각합니까 이 세트?
뭐 사실상 MVP라고 하셨는데 못 받아서 기분이 썩.
You said someone who deserved the MVP should get the MVP, but I didn't get it, so I'm confused.
잘했으니까 그런 것 같은데.
So modest.
그 아까도
That Faker
잠깐
guy.
다른 선수들이 말을 하긴 했습니다. 페이커 선수 입장에서도 이제 차근차근 밟고 결승까지 가는 과정이.
And a lot of people did, especially your teammates, talked about the step-by-step into the finals.
해야 되는 걸로 알고 있는데 결승전까지 가려면 그게 사실 승률을 50%로만 잡아도.
Yeah, I think
말이에요. 그래서
if we have to make multiple wins to get to the finals, we can't rely on a 50% win rate to get there. So
굉장히 잘하시는 것 같아요. 계산 능력이나.
네.
예.
굉장히 또 계산
그게 바로 되네요. 계산이.
크템 선수도 되게
아니
계산적이시잖아요.
저는 아예 그런 거에.
제가
he's talking about Faker's math skills, trying to compare Cloud Templar's math skills with that.
뽑았다고 합니다.
And Peanuts applauding for Faker's math skills.
아니
페이커 선수 알아두시라고.
예 원래 그거
예.
이렇게 실명제로 가는 건가요?
아니 뭐 갑자기 예,
근데 저는 피넛
피디님께서
선수 뽑긴 했어요.
원래
But I did pick Peanut for the MVP.
선수를 많이 좋아하시더라고요.
예, 저 피넛 선수.
Yeah, it seems like you like Peanut, you like the jungler players, Cloud Templar.
뭐 하시는 거예요 지금? 와이드카드
저
인터뷰
피넛
중에
선수한테 마이크 좀. 아니요.
페이커 선수 인터뷰 중에 지금
예,
자꾸 예,
알겠습니다.
선가르시고 너무합니다. 예. 그래서 이제 페이커 선수 오늘 또 갈리오와 카시 플레이를 하셨는데 사실 갈리오 픽은
But in the end, you picked up Galio for the first game, which is what we want to go back to.
같은 그런 챔피언인데 오늘
And it just seemed like a staple pick for you, actually, you picking it up for the first pick in the draft.
뭐 일단 저희가 갈리오가 이번에 상대 쿠로 선수도 잘 쓰고 그래서.
Yeah, Galio was a multi-purpose pick where we knew that KURO was very talented in that pick. So, taking it away from him and using it for ourselves was a double benefit for our composition. But, with my form not being at its highest, that was a situation where we kind of regretted that we should have went with a different pick, but it was a pick that we were going to go with regardless of the situation.
유동적으로 좀 가신 건가요? 뭐 심연에 가면은 바로 올리셨던 걸로 기억.
It just seemed like the item choices were interesting as well.
최근 버전에서 아마 심연의 가면이 너프된 걸로 알고 있는데
It seems like the
심연의 가면이 아니라 적응형
the Abyssal Scepter is a little bit nerfed this patch, and but we still went with a composition based item, so that's why we went with that item.
카시오페아 할 때는 상대가 AP가 많아서
And with Cassiopeia's,
원래는 영겁의 지팡이를 많이 가는데
you usually go with a Rod of Ages,
카탈리스트가 제로팀이라서 괜찮을 것 같아서 갔어.
but we just went with the Catalyst just to go with the full build that we would eventually get to.
그럼 또 울프 선수가 도화지 아까 찢어져서 좀 섭섭해하시는 것
울프 선수
같아요.
오늘 인터뷰 분위기는 좀 만족하시나요?
And Wolf, are you happy with the interview so far with all the comments made by different players?
예, 철없던 친구 성숙해진 것 같고.
I think this immature player got a little bit mature today,
예, 여기도
so that's the one good thing.
오늘 괜찮네. 저만.
So I think, yeah, all these players, they're getting a little bit mature, so I'm happy for these guys.
SKT 대표로 우리 울프 선수가
So as a representative of SKT Wolf,
하지만 이제 남은 경기들이 또 중요하다.
we have a lot of games still left over to eventually win that finals.
그리고 또 주말에
Would you like to say anything in regards to your current situation?
부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 이제 오늘 경기력이 사실 완전 깔끔하게 나오진 않았잖아요.
I think today's games weren't as clean as we wanted it to be,
저희 연습도 정말 열심히 하고 있고
but we are practicing much harder from day by day, and
앞으로 경기력은 더 좋아지고
you can expect our performances to go up, with each game that we play.
팀 팬분들은 얼마나 걱정하시겠어요.
And of course, with
약간
us, in this position that we have to take a one step by step, you can imagine how the other fans are worried about, their team facing up against us.
올라가면서 기세가 좋아질 거라고.
But I think our performance will rise as we get advanced and past each round to play.
건강이 최고예요.
네, 알겠습니다. 울프 선수도 건강하셨으면 좋겠습니다.
그렇죠.
네.
맛있는 거 많이 드시고 건강이 최고입니다.
그렇습니다. 다시 한번 우리 SKT 전원 선수들에게 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
And we think we are done with the interview here, and we'll throw it back to you guys.